recording for this session, and the people who signed up, which there's another 65 people who haven't found us yet. I'm glad that you clicked on the link on the page and found us. So David Pace and some others have found us from that link. I heard about this from Ryan Ray. So there's a chat on the bottom of the screen, so you can give us questions on the chat. And I'm going to put in the chat, I'm going to give you a link for the page while Saundra is talking. So Saundra, we're gonna start with this. Are you ready to start? We're gonna let Ryan Ray kick us off now that we have a quorum here. And as soon as I can, I will put the download into your chat box, everyone. So Mr. Ryan Ray, why don't you take it away?
Just you can still hear.
Ryan, are you there?
Gotta take your mute off, Ryan.
Ryan, I think you're on mute.
Yes, I apologize. I was trying to send this last out to everyone. So anyway, how's everybody doing? Wow. What an awesome way to get this thing kicked off. That means that we are going to be doing some wonderful things. Anytime there's the little hiccups along the way, you know, you got to have a little rain to appreciate the sunshine. So we're grateful to each of you for plugging in tonight to one of many events with Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership. I'd be remiss if I went any further without giving a huge shout out to those who have brought us this far. Before I go in and tell you what we're all about here with Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership, you see here Dr. Saundra Williams, who you're going to hear from and hear more about, Kimberly Winborn, Peggy Tatum, she's up at the top right of my corner, and as well as Hugh, who's kind of come alongside of us here lately, gave us some direction. And so we're honored and proud to be able to share this life-changing information, and it's going to turn into a journey that we're going to embark upon. And so tonight you're going to hear from two experts who I've had the pleasure of being under their mentorship, who I've learned and so much from. They both really just pushed me out there, guys, as entrepreneurs and business owners. Sometimes you just need someone to just give you a little push. But when they push you, they also kind of have you by the belt buckle and say, go this way, go that way, go this way, go that way. And so I'm grateful for each of these individuals here that I've had the pleasure of working with. But I just want to give a highlight, a little bit about Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership. And then I'm going to introduce our speakers tonight, turn it right over to them because we're already getting a little bit of a late start. Therefore, I don't want to take up too much of their time because they have prepared very diligently for you tonight. As Hugh said, if you have any questions, feel free to chat those over in the chat box for Zoom, as well as if you want to be a good student tonight, print down the webinar handout form that's also in the group chat. That's going to give you a place to jot down notes, jot down questions. You're going to leave this call extremely empowered. So a little bit about Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership. It was formed about a year ago, just kind of on a whim to just bring some people together for an educational seminar. And over the course of the last 11 months, it has just grown tremendously, that community. And so we just had some conversations, man, how can we take this information that we've accumulated over the years of experience and pour it out into the lives of other people. And so we created this group, and it's a regional leadership network of entrepreneurs who are committed to excellence. And it's our focus to educate and empower business owners with the thinking and the skill sets necessary for financial, personal, and professional success. And if you're on this call tonight, I'm convinced that you desire success in one of, if not all three of those areas: financially, personally, and professionally. And so, again, I'm not going to bore you too much with information about me. I think Hugh and Saundra are ready. They're going to get us rolling. Hugh is a transformational leadership strategist. He led orchestras, symphonies, major choirs all around the world, and he's taken that skill set of how to navigate and control a group of people simply by using his hands and his eyes and probably his head, maybe his nose and ears. I don't know what all they do, but he's taken that skill set and he's developed it into an educational format to teach people transformational leadership. And Dr. Saundra Williams, had the pleasure of meeting her through a mutual friend, just a phenomenal heart and passion for people, loves people, has a young child of her own who she really, really loves and adores, I guess, as most mommies do. So I know she, look at that smile. And she is the CEO of the Vision Building Institute for Women, where she educates and empowers women, again, from her experience. And so, again, I'm so grateful for both of them having their mentorship, their friendship, and I'm grateful for them taking time out of their busy schedule. They're renowned speakers. They're called on all the time. And so, without further ado, I want to turn this program over to Dr. Williams, who's going to kick us off, and then she's going to bring us in Brother Ballou. And then, like I said, we're going to have some dialogue along the way, guys. So welcome to the 10 Things Keeping You from Success webinar. Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Ryan. Can everybody hear me okay?
A little louder, please.
Volume.
Okay, need some volume?
Yes.
How about that?
A little more.
That's all I have, so.
We'll listen carefully.
Okay.
You can't lean back then.
I can't lean back. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool. So, again, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar, 10 Things That Keep You from Success. So thank you, Ryan, and hello everybody. I'm glad to be here, and I have my notes in front of me. So if you be looking back and forth, because the camera's up here, my notes are right here, and then you guys are on this side of the computer. So I'm looking back and forth. Got to have that eye contact when you're talking to people. But again, thank you all for joining in, and welcome. As Ryan said, my name is Saundra Williams. I'm an author, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Vision Building Institute for Women. And I'm glad to have this opportunity tonight to join Hugh and Ryan and bring you this great content.
Saundra, your mic is just faded. Do you have a headset that you can put in?
I do. Can you give me a second?
Yeah. While she's getting that, if you move your cursor on the screen, you'll be able to see at the bottom the chat box. You can click on the chat box, and in the chat box you can look on the side. If you have questions during the session, you can ask. If you have a way to mute your mic if you're not speaking, we have some sound that's coming in. So sorry to interrupt you, Saundra. I didn't want to miss any of your words.
Oh no, is that better?
Oh, much better. Thank you.
Ah, okay, great. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, wonderful. I can actually hear you guys better too. That means I need to go get me a different headset because I have a different headset, but I'll go make sure we do that before we do the next webinar. All right, so again, my name is Saundra Williams, and I'm an author, speaker, and I'm CEO and founder of the Vision Building Institute for Women. And like I said, I'm really glad to have this opportunity to join Hugh and to join Ryan and bring you this great content on those kinds of things that keep us from success. But before I begin my content, let me tell you a little bit why I may be qualified, well, I am qualified to bring you this information. For the past 25 years, I've been in leadership. I recently retired as the Senior Vice President and Chief of Technology for the North Carolina Community College System. And North Carolina has the third largest community college system in the world. And I led the implementation of the largest computer information system in higher education. And I was responsible for everything IT, data, business intelligence, our library systems, distance learning, anything that had to do with the system, then I was responsible for that. And before that, I led teams in 3 technology companies and in higher education. I'm an adjunct professor at NC State University, several awards. The most recent award was I was named North Carolina's Technology Woman of the Year. And in addition to that, I have the honor of being an associate minister and an elder who leads Christian education. And so with all of my executive leadership, being CEO of the Vision Building Institute for Women, where we work with women to bring their visions to reality, my corporate experience, my leadership experience in higher ed, and of course, the experience in the ministry, I've been blessed and have much experience and knowledge and wisdom about the topic of success. So it's an honor to be able to share some of my insights on success with you. And in my various leadership capacities, I found that there are different areas that keep people from success. So when we talk about success on tonight, what I want you to remember is that we're talking about it from the perspective of personal success, success in your business, success in your ministry, in your career, in your nonprofit, whatever area, but all what we're going to talk about tonight, everything applies to every single area. So we want to make sure that you remember that. So let's get right into the content. So Hugh and I together are going to give you these 10 things, and I'm going to start off. Oh, here's number 1. Probably the one of the biggest things, major factors that keep people from success are your associations. Now, when we talk about your associations, we describe success from a perspective of different areas. But one thing that you have to remember is that you have to have the associations to get you there. And I know that we all have good friends, and we have very good friends. As a matter of fact, me and 4 of my girlfriends are going to the beach tomorrow for a girls' weekend. And we love to have and spend time with people socially. But here's the thing. When you talk about going to a different level of success, you literally have to associate yourself with success. I know that you have hopes and dreams and goals and vision, and you want to share them with the people around you, especially those people that are your good friends. But one of the major factors I found being a full-time entrepreneur, I recently retired, as I said, and now I'm full-time. But one of the things that I found is that everyone cannot be privy to the information that you have, because if they're not going the same direction that you are, then they won't understand the kinds of actions that you have to take in order to be successful. They won't understand the late nights. They won't understand the investments in yourself. And they won't understand why is it that you have to do all this work when technically you're working for yourself. So if you want to reach a certain level of success, if you're looking like, I'm here now, I'm at this particular place in life now, but I'm trying to reach a different level, then here's what I call an association strategy. All right. I love to give strategies. This is all I'd like to tell you. Here's something you can do, but I want to give you a specific strategy. So here's an association strategy that I have. And that is, for success, find people that you can be associated with. And my actual coach, calls these your super friends. Now, your super friends are those people that you may not go out with or do anything with socially, but they are the people that are going in the same direction as you. What that means is that they have goals, they have visions that are in alignment with your goals and your visions. They may be other business owners. They could be mentors. They could be coaches. But the bottom line is you have to align yourself. Your associations have to be in alignment with where it is that you want to go, whatever it is that you aspire to. So when you talk about the friends that you have in business, some of your friends have to be super friends. Like, for example, there are super friends that I have. Some of them are here, actually on this line. Some of them are here. And there are super friends, and they're super friends because we're all going in the same direction. We're all working together. We all have the same type of vision. We all have things that we're moving towards. But the bottom line is we all desire a certain level of success. And so remember, that in order to be successful, you have to associate with success. Now, here's something I want you to do very quickly. And that is, I want you to think about the circles of people that you are associated with. The circle of people that you're associated with. So for me, it would be like my church friends, my work friends. Those are people that are in, maybe doing things with business in. My exercise friends, okay, people that I work out with. My personal friends, my CEO friends, my ministry friends. And those people are all in different circles, all right? Those people, you know them because of your collaboration or your work with them. Now, here's the thing. There was a point in time in my life where I tried to get all those circles to intersect. I wanted all those people to be a part of my life and all those people to be a part of the business component of my life. Well, that doesn't necessarily work. So what I want to tell you, what I want you to remember is, in order to move to your next level of success, your associations also have to be in line with that success. So when you're striving for success, remember, find those super friends, and your super friends are those people that can actually pour into you and give you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding about where it is that you would like to go. And here's the thing. Everybody, and because I teach a lot of women, I often tell women that your best girlfriend, and for the men on the line, your best guy friend may or may not be one of your super friends, okay? And it's okay if they're not a super friend. That's fine, all right? But just make sure that when you are moving to that next level of success, that you differentiate your circles and that you have a circle that is full of or has super friends in it, okay? So that was number one. Number one would be your associations. Number two, the second thing that could be keeping you from success is your mindset. Your mindset. And notice, I'm talking about a lot of the soft skill kinds of things, and Hugh is going to come back and he's going to talk more about the hard skill and the strategies. So, and he's going to be filling in the blanks in terms of how you do some of the things we're talking about from the ones I'm giving you. So number two is your mindset. Now, having a negative mindset will completely talk you out of success. Let me say that again. Having a negative mindset will talk you completely out of success. We often listen to our own negative self-chatter or from others telling us what we can do or what we can't do. Your mindset has to be in alignment with the level of success you desire. Your mindset has to be in alignment with the level of success you desire. For example, when I had the desire to work with women in my own company, I had to understand the value that I bring to the table in providing women vision coaching and training such that there's transformation in their life, in their business, or in their ministry, such that they could make money from what I was teaching them, such that they could actually take themselves to a whole different level based on the kinds of things that we were working on, their ministry, their business, their careers, because we work in several different areas. But, I would often ask myself, and I would always wonder and ask myself, why would people want to pay to hear advice or guidance from me? Excuse me. Why would people want to pay to hear advice? That's negative self-chatter. That's negative kinds of things that you're bringing to yourself. And I'll be very honest with you. I almost let my own negative self-chatter talk me out of starting the Vision Building Institute for Women. Now, had I listened to my own negativity, and had I not had the mindset to see my own value and the value that I bring to others, then literally hundreds of women would not be moving forward with their vision on today. Books have been written. Nonprofits have been started. Businesses are profitable. Ministries are being formed. People are being helped because I moved from a will they attitude or why would they attitude to a why not attitude. So another thing that we see that keeps people from success is your own mindset. Don't allow what you think or what you even value about yourself. Know that you do have value, but don't allow your own mindset or what others think about you to get in your way of success. That one always gets me pumped up, because so many times we often think about what we can do and we don't realize what we truly have to offer others. Remember, if there's opportunity in front of you, If you see opportunity in front of you, if you know there's an opportunity being placed before you, then you have what it takes to achieve the success that comes from that opportunity. Now, you may have to go back to school, you may have to get some licensure or those kinds of things, but that doesn't mean that the opportunity is not for you. Don't negate something just because you feel that you don't have what it takes. If I am a firm believer that the opportunity is placed in front of you, then you are the one that should be taking the opportunity. So number one was your associations. Number two is your mindset. Here's a third thing that I see often, even when I was working in government and in corporate, in terms of people wanting to go to their next level or go to another level of success. Number three would be your expectations, When we go into a new arena, a new business, a new ministry, a new career, a transition in life, such as moving from your current job to something totally different. Some people, retire and go to a different kind of job, or some people just say, you know what, I am ready to walk away from what I'm doing and be an entrepreneur full time. I'm ready to be my own boss. I'm ready to do what I have to do such that I can do what I've been called to do or what I've been dreaming about all my life, and I want to do it full time. But when you begin to be successful, whether you get a promotion on your job, you're doing something different, you start your own business, you go back to school to get a graduate degree, whatever your successful is, and you always have to define success for yourself, but whatever it is, here's something I want you to remember. Don't expect everyone in those circles that we identified in number one, don't expect everyone in those circles to be there for you or be there with you. You have to learn, as a person who is reaching for success, you have to learn to adjust your expectation. Okay? Many people may leave their jobs, their full-time jobs. I did. I mean, I retired from that kind of work so I could do what I'm doing now, which I love, which you can probably tell because I get really animated. I'm trying really to hold my hands back here. But I left a full-time job, a very successful full-time job, so that I could do what I really love doing, which is helping women and working with women move their vision forward. But many people leave their job, they feel that call to entrepreneurship, they walk out of a door unprepared. Let me say that again. Some people walk out of a door unprepared and don't know what to expect when they get to a new arena, especially when it comes to the circle of people that left. When I was at my previous job, I had a staff of about 100 people that could help me with technology, that could do all the things that I needed for them to do. And when I started my own company, I had to go and find those people. So don't expect the people that are in your different circles that when you actually move into a different circle or you actually go to a different level, don't expect those people to be there with you or for you. When you walk out of one door, make sure that you are prepared and you know what's expected of you when you go into another one. So many times people don't move up, or they don't get to the level of success that they want to, or that they desire, because they are not prepared to walk in it. Now, here's a strategy I want you to remember. Learn to adjust your expectations before you step into something new. Learn to adjust your expectations before you step into something new. What do I mean by that? I actually started my company, the Vision Building Institute for Women. I actually started that 3 years before I left my full-time job. So I had lots of coaching, a lot of business strategies, the kinds of strategies that Hugh is going to talk about in a few minutes. I actually had all of that in place before I ever stepped into this full time. Things like pricing my products, pricing my services, knowing my value, those kinds of things. The people who were going to support me, the people that I needed to make this successful, that team of people, those people were already in place before I stepped out. So again, adjust your expectations about what you have to do before you step into doing it. Adjust your expectations about making money. Here's something that people don't realize. People want to get into business, but you don't realize that it does take money to make money. All right, let me say that again. All of you, some or maybe all of you are entrepreneurs on the phone. It does take money to make money, okay? Now, this is not only money for the tools that you need for business, but it's also the kind of money that you need to invest in yourself. You need to make an investment in yourself when it comes to being successful. Have a level of expectation for yourself about what you're going to do in business. Have a level of expectation for yourself about what you're going to do in business, what you're going to do with your nonprofit, what you're going to do with the ministry. But whatever it is, make sure you set your level of expectations. Many people don't reach a certain level of success because they want to stay in what I call that free space. You know, that free space is where you're getting so much information for free that you get so much information for free that you don't know what to do with it. And eventually that free stuff begins to be shelf, S-H-E-L-F, shelf stuff, because you get so much of it, you don't know what to do, and you end up putting it on the shelf. All right. So make sure that if you are getting information, it's information that's targeted for you, and you are setting expectations for what you're going to do, how you're going to do your business, and you're putting together strategies for your company. Set your expectations early. Set your expectations even before you desire to step out and do business. And in addition to setting expectations for yourself, make sure you set expectations for those people around you. Never assume that the people working on your team or the people working with you know what you expect. It's all about communication, and it's all about helping people understand their expectations from you. I never, ever expect my team to know what I want. I communicate it very clearly. And I also communicate the level of success, the level of expectation, the level that I want. Because if I don't communicate it, they're not going to know. Something I learned a long time ago is that no one can read my mind, and I don't expect them to. Don't expect anybody to read your mind. When it comes to your team, tell them what you expect. When it comes to yourself, make sure you know the level of expectation that you have, what you're going to need before you step out. Okay, so number 1 was associations. Number 2 was your mindset. Number 3, the thing that could keep you from success would be your expectations. Number 4, and this is one that I see a whole lot, and I've seen a whole lot since I've actually stepped out and am doing this full time. Number 4 is your lack of awareness. Your lack of awareness. Now, there is a formula to success, and it involves strategy. It involves finances. It involves your team, your skills, your investment in you, identifying your obstacles, and so much more. The key to understanding here is that there is a formula. There is a formula to success. And if you think that you know how to be successful without that formula, then take it from someone who knows and who has been there. You won't get there. You'll be cheating yourself if you don't know the formula to success, or you're not around people like you're around people in this group right here. Hugh, myself, Ryan, other people on the phone, other people on the webinar. You have to know that formula to success. Don't hitch yourself to someone who cannot get you to your next level of success, because you'll be cheating yourself. You'll be cheating yourself. That lack of awareness kind of puts you in a category of a know-it-all. When you say, well, you know what? I don't need to listen to that because I've done it. I've read this about it. I don't need to know about it. But let me tell you, when you have that lack of awareness, when you have that know-it-all attitude, when you feel that you know what it takes to market your programs, you don't need any help with that, or you know what it takes to market your programs, and then you don't do an analysis. Or you say, well, I desire to make $1 million, but I don't have a plan to get there. There's a problem with that, okay? There are people who can teach you at the different levels that you want to go. When I started putting my company together 3 years ago, I started out at one level, and now where I am is I'm actually getting help and getting coaching from people who are making millions, because I want to be at that point. That's my next level, is in the millions. I'm sure all of you want to be there too, but make sure that you're listening to people that can teach you how to get there, and not just people who think that they know. Okay. And one of my coaches calls this a wannabe business people. Okay. You're getting information, get information from experts and not wannabes. Okay. So your lack of awareness, a know-it-all attitude, and this is something that I see a lot keeping people from success, could derail your success. Your strategy here, determine the areas you need to get help and then go get it. All right. Determine the areas where you need to get help and then go get it. If you know that you need help in an area of finance or someone helping you to map out that $1 million plan, and believe me, $1 million plan is a mapping. Okay. You need to know what are the steps to get there. How do I get there? If you want your business to grow over the next 8 to 12 to 24 months, then what is the plan to get there? What do you have to do in social media? What do you have to do in terms of visibility? What do you have to have in terms of accountability? What are the strategies around getting you there? You have to have someone who has been there, done that to be able to help you. I am a firm believer in coaches, as I'm sure all of you are, but I'm a firm believer in having coaches in what I call specific areas, okay? I call them specialists. I had a coach when I started out that was a generalist in a certain area, and now I have coaches that are specialists in certain areas to teach me specific things, to teach my team specific kinds of things. So get the coaching or the training that you need to be the success that you need. Make sure that you're getting what you need from the right people. Don't derail yourself because you feel you don't need to know certain information. And then the last one, number 5, is your activity is not aligned with your goals. Your activity is not aligned with your goals. Now, every single activity that you do, every business activity that you do, every decision that you make should be in alignment with the goals that you have. All right. If you have $1 million vision, then your action should match that vision. Your action should match that vision. Are you putting together strategies that will match the kinds of goals that you're looking for? Are you spending time creating social media posts, or are you spending time determining strategies that will help you to move forward with your company, that will help you to move your nonprofit forward, your ministry, your business, whatever it is? What are you spending your time doing? And is it in alignment with your goals? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass. Here you go, Hugh. I'm going to pass the baton. If I had one, I should have gotten one.
I love it.
I'm going to pass the baton to Hugh, and Hugh is going to talk to you more about what strategies. We talked a lot about the soft skills, but what strategies do you need to be able to take these soft skills and move them and help them move you to your next level of success? Hugh?
Well, Saundra, I wish you could get excited about your topic.
Awesome job. Awesome job.
You're dynamic. Everybody, if you look in the chat screen, if you move your cursor, it opens up the panel on the bottom, and you can click on chat. I put in the points that she just made, and also put in the link for the handouts. You can have the handout, which has some good information in there. So it's good to see everybody, and everybody's still hanging in there. So we're caught up. We're right on time for what we expected. So what happens next is we need to have, and I'm going to tag on that last point. We are entrepreneurs, and Saundra, we do a lot of stuff, and you hit on some really good points. And there's this integration of planning and performance. And we implement tactics as entrepreneurs. We go really fast. And I got a friend that says you go so fast, at the end of the day, you're right where you started, like you were riding a stationary bicycle. And I think you know him, Ryan, it's Mr. Ed Bogle. He also says we go so fast as entrepreneurs, we could thread a sewing machine while it's running. So we want to do a lot of stuff fast, but we haven't really thought about creating the venture strategy. So what is the strategy, the framework? What are we going to do next? People tell me, well, I wrote a business plan. Well, okay, that's for your bank. That's for your investor. It's an idea of the business. It's just, it's a definition of your business. It's not your operational document. Your strategic plan is your operational document. And in that, Well, you need to have a life plan. What do you want your life to look like? Have you defined your core values? We write goals for our business. Have we written goals for our life? What do you want ultimately to be the fulfillment of your life? What does your family look like? My family's grown up. I grew up 2 families, as a matter of fact. And so they're gone. Now I'm in my 3rd career, and it's my most rewarding career. I've been able to take all those things I have learned throughout my life. I live in Southwest Virginia in the mountains, and we were sitting on the deck out in the woods tonight having dinner before this webinar. And I thank you people for finding us. We made it hard, and the people who got here, we hope you're rewarded. We're going to give you some stuff for sticking with it. Your strategy says where you're going to be in your business. Your life plan is how this business is going to support your life. I've been to 19 cities. I've done a 1-day leadership empowerment symposium. The number one issue people say they need to deal with, they're social entrepreneurs. They're running a charity, they're clergy, running a church or synagogue, or they're running a small business. The number one issue is leader burnout. Well, we haven't regulated ourselves. We overfunction, we do too much, we just go full bore because we know we have to work hard. Well, wait a minute. It's time to work smart. It's time to develop a plan. Your plan is where you're going to be with your business, how this business is going to supply the revenue and the peace of mind and the style of life that you deserve. Those go together. So the number one problem on my side, this is number 6 of 10, is strategy. We don't have a strategy. We're going and we're implementing tactics in the absence of a strategy. Strategy is, what's the problem we're solving? If you have an organization that you're launching or you're growing or you're running, you're solving a problem. You provide value to people. For that value, you generate revenue. With that revenue, it supports your enterprise to fulfill your mission. So we must define the problem we solve. This is a problem. This is how we solve it. How are we unique? Our unique value proposition. Then we define in our enterprise, what does it look like 5 years out? What is our goal for 1 year or less? What are the milestones we're going to have month after month? It's a very clear plan of action. So when you bring team members in, they know how to be engaged. They know where to be engaged. And as Ryan pointed out, I spent 40 years as a musical conductor. And people knew what to do because they had this piece of music in front of them. They knew when to play. And that piece of music I had in front of me on my stand, my music stand, told me everything that was going to happen. So it makes no sense at all that we start an enterprise and we don't have a plan for that. And people tell me, I get some really stupid excuses. They're not reasons, they're excuses. The reasons are, I don't have time to write a plan. Okay, so you've got time to redo it, right? We need somebody to mute a mic. Rejuvenate Boutique, can you mute your mic? So if you don't have time to plan it to begin with, why do you think you have time to go back and do it over? We're going to waste time, we're going to waste money, and we're going to really irritate people. The other stupid excuse I get is, it quenches my creativity to have to write down a plan and have to go by it. Wait a minute. I got 50 musicians in orchestra who are very creative, very talented musicians. I give them the music. It's not going to dampen their creativity. It's going to liberate their creativity because we've got the sketch of how we're going to work together. And because of that, we're able to develop this higher level of functioning we call ensemble. And in a non-musical world, we call ensemble synergy. It's that higher level of performing. So we've got our plan. Plan says what are we going to do, when we're going to do it, and it also talks about what we're going to need. So the next important thing that people don't do is they don't work on their personal skills. The other stupid excuse I got from somebody one day, he said, I don't need leadership. I've read the books. And I said to him, I also bet you found the end of the internet. You got to the end of it. You found everything. I'm sorry. Leadership is this constantly growing body of knowledge. We equip ourselves. We continue to equip ourselves for the next level of the enterprise. To transform your idea into reality, to transform your organization, begin by transforming yourself. I teach transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is this culture of high-performing individuals. So when we write our strategy, we've defined the competencies we're going to need on our teams. We don't run a business alone anymore. Whether you have a formal team or an informal team or a collaboration of people like Saundra was talking about, your associations, that is so critical. That is so critical. And it requires, like she said, this awareness. We need to take this thing off our forehead that says, I know that. Well, no, you don't know that. You might know part of that, but you don't know it all. So we want to hang around people. If you're smarter than everybody on your team, it's time to get a new team. So let me go back to this. I went to 19 cities in the last year and a half. And the number one issue people want to deal with is leader burnout. Number two is team under-functioning. My team doesn't do what I need them to do. Well, isn't that related to what you just said? You're working too hard. You're doing too much. Why should they do anything? It's the over-functioning, under-functioning reciprocity. The more you do, the less they're going to do. That's really common in leaders and nonprofits. It's really common with church leaders. We have this work ethic, which is okay, but we overstep that work ethic and we do too much. So the more we do, the less others are going to do. So part of our equipping ourselves as leaders is defining our guiding principles. Our guiding principles guide our decision making. We make decisions for logical reasons, not for emotional reasons. We get in trouble when our emotion drives our decision making. So work on the skill set. Learn about yourself. My leadership coach, by the way, I teach leadership. I have a leadership coach. I practice what I preach. What Saundra said, if you look at the people who are very successful, they all have coaches. And the more successful, the more coaches they have. So look at your, a famous musical performer, concert artist, an actor, an athlete. They have numerous coaches who help them stay at the front, help them stay at the top of their game. None of this to the next level. I'm going to take my business to the next level. I hear all the time. That is so boring. Just take it to the top. Do the best you can always. You're a leader. Work on your skill first. Have somebody work on your skills upgrade. It's always, if things aren't working like you want them to work, look in the mirror. That's what a musical director does. We look in the mirror. It's not working. Okay, what am I doing? What do I need to change? If you want to change anybody in any group emotional situation, change yourself and they will respond to you. I've seen it happen over and over and over. The other thing people tell me over and over, I go to conferences. I'll be at one tomorrow in Melbourne, Business Acceleration Summit, where I'm speaking, leading groups, doing presentations and workshops. And there'll be a whole lot of entrepreneurs. And I'll hear, oh, I've got a team. Great. What are they going to do? Well, I don't know yet. I think you're out of order. You've got to have a strategy first. The strategy says what's going to happen. And the strategy says, what's the competencies? So we need to get the right team, and we need to learn to empower that team. There are so many people that, because they don't know that, they just do it themselves, and they say, oh, I'd rather do it myself. It's easier. Well, why do you have a team? It would be like me hiring the best oboe player in town to play in my orchestra, and then I try to tell them how to play the oboe. That makes absolutely no sense. So we want to get competent people, and we want to challenge them to use the skills. Here, I'm hiring a marketing person, and I'm going to say, here's what I want. I want 25% increase in our revenue, and here's how I want you to do it. Well, wait a minute. Are you a marketing specialist? And didn't you just hire somebody for marketing? So why in the world are you telling them how to do their job? Tell them the results you want. Work with them with the plan. They're going to give you the plan. You still get to approve the plan. So we need to find the right people. That's competencies. We need to define their role and responsibility. We need to make sure they fit the culture, because we're going to write guiding principles in our strategy. These are principles of how we make decisions. Think of Southwest Airlines. They're known for hospitality. Their principle is they're in the hospitality business and they run an airline. Disney, you're the guest. It's an entertainment company. They're very clear on their principles. Consequently, they have satisfied customers and their bottom line shows it. Very profitable. So if you build a team, they're competent. What is the competency? Make sure it fits the role and responsibility, number 2. Number 3, they fit the culture, because a bad fit will hurt your team, hurt your business. And number 4, expectations. We don't do this. When we hire a marketing person, we need to say, in the next year, I want to see these results. In the next 30 days, I want to see these results. So we define the role and responsibility. You're in charge of developing and implementing marketing strategies that will, expectations, give us 25% increase in sales and 30% increase in bottom line profit. So that point is your team. Got to have a team. The last 2 points.
Hugh.
Got to have money.
Hugh.
Yes, sir.
Let me interrupt. Since you're still in the team, we had a question, if it's appropriate, before you go into the financial plan. I think we might go too far. And marketing plan. Kathy Rios asked, how do you set boundaries with a friend who is your employee in a new business? Ooh.
Oh, that's a good question, Kathy. A good way to lose a friend is to hire them in your business, because the part of relationship that helps us be friends doesn't work in a business setting. So we need to write an agreement. Stuart Levine, Levine, has a book on Amazon called the 10 Agreements, the Book of Agreements. But look up Stuart Levine. But it's the 10 things you need to cover in writing an agreement. What's the value? What's the expectations? How do you renegotiate? So we want to, if you have a friend, it's really critical to have an agreement. What's your role? What's their role? What's your expectations? What do you do when there's a conflict? Conflict is the sign of energy. It's not a bad thing. It's that people are thinking. If you have really good creative people on your team, you're going to have conflict. It's really creative energy. We need to manage the conflict and move it into, it's like dissonance and consonance in music. Conflict to resolution, conflict to resolution. So number 1, go back and say, okay, we need to write an agreement of how we're going to work together. And it may be that you can't work together. And it also, in ourselves, we have our guiding principles that we write. Here is what we're going to do. For instance, I've worked with a private school near here in Floyd called the Blue Mountain School. They don't subscribe to the standardized testing in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They teach children how to learn. So they have their own leadership and education methodology in this school. Their number 1 guiding principle is we will not accept money from anybody that wants to change how we educate our children. So they're very clear on their principles. So you as a leader, we're gonna have these guidelines of how we're gonna function. Here's our goals. Here's our action plans. Here's how we'll function together. And I find a lot of leaders don't want to make a correction because they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, and they want that person to like them. And I would come back and say, that person wants to know
regarding the previous interest that was expressed into our Dynamics ERP system.
UTB.
Give me a call back at 800-461.
You can mute if you right-click.
I did.
Okay, very good.
Macs don't have a right click. We have a special mode.
You Mackies.
He's right.
Yeah, bring it on. So there's a whole lot to that, but having the agreement and then working on yourself. There's another good book to have out there by Roberta Gilbert, and it's called Extraordinary Relationships. I'm going to put her name in. If you just go to Roberta Gilbert in Amazon and look at her books, Extraordinary Relationships helps you learn about yourself and what drives you. We all function in a culture like we function in the family we grew up, and other people do. So number one, have an agreement. Number two, have principles that you will speak directly to the facts, and you will ask them to perform in a different manner because it is your business and you have the right to do so. And your principle for yourself is to say, I would rather they respect me than like me. Because if you keep trying to please them and not address it, ultimately it will spoil the relationship and they won't like you or respect you. So that's a long answer to your question, and there's a whole lot more to talk about. The Book of Agreement, Stuart Levine. Thank you, sir. So can I go on now, Ryan? Thank you for that interruption.
Thank you, Hugh. And she says that was awesome. She has definitely considered that, and I think you have put a bow on it for her.
Good. And I can't equip yourself, Extraordinary Relationships, and then find tools, the Book of Agreement. And the other one is your revenue. So the last 2 points are your financial plan and your sources of income. If you have one source of revenue, you will go broke. 100%, you'll go broke. You've got to have multiple sources of revenue. If you run a charity, nonprofit, there's 8 sources of revenue. If you're in business, there's more than that. So you can have products. I have books. I have online courses. I do keynotes. I do workshops. I do one-to-one coaching. There's lots of ways that I generate revenue, and my favorite is to generate revenue while I'm sleeping with my online programs. So I've worked really hard to create those programs, and then people get reciprocal value because they have something forever. And so I continue to deliver content. So define your streams of revenue and build your financial plan. Those are the last 2 bullet points. You must have a really good budget. Your now budget. If you're raising money and you have money for a new business, how long would that money last you? It's a cash flow forecast. Make sure, I find that a lot of people run out of money because they haven't thought of how long this money is going to last. Make sure that you're doing enough in sales that you're offsetting what we call your burn rate. These are the expenses that you have every month. And the whole idea, whether you're running a nonprofit or a for-profit, is that you need to be in the black at the end of the month, not in the red. So your job as a leader is to make sure that your vision is faithfully executed. Number one. Number two, make sure that it makes money. Yes, sir. Were you asking another question?
No.
You must have a financial plan. You must have a budget, and every dollar you spend in the budget must tie to a line item. Was that Dr. Nick?
I was just saying, look at there, Dr. Cooper Luter. How are you, buddy?
Cooper Luter in South Carolina. Yeah. So every dollar you spend must tie to a milestone in your strategy. So there's the circular reference. We want to spend money because we need to spend it. Well, wait a minute. You've got a plan. Right. If your plan isn't right, you need to change the plan. Yeah. Otherwise,
you hang in there, and I'll do what you said, and then see what happens.
I'm going to mute you a minute, Nick, so we can. So you're tying in on the phone. So I'm glad to see you. We're gonna unmute everybody in just a minute. So you really must have a budget, and you really must have. I have an external person that helps me monitor my budget. And if you bring in investors or if you get a grant as a nonprofit, it's really critical that you have somebody that's going to help you keep track of that money and report back. So that's my 5 areas. So if you have other questions, put them in the chat, and I want to unmute people. If you want to put a question in, or you want to, Saundra, we're going to team on questions now. If people have questions, we gave you a whole lot of data in a very, very rapid fire here, and we're wrapping up. We got about 10, 12 more minutes before we've decided to end, so we can address your questions. And I'll say, which one is number 10? Number 10 is your marketing plan. How will you get to those customers and get those streams of revenue? So you find a person who's a specialist in marketing and develop a plan to get your product, get your service. Even if you have a nonprofit, you really need to get the word out to the people who need it. So it's really clear. What is your brand promise? If this is in your strategy, what is your brand promise? What are you going to give people? And then what is your unique value proposition? Why should people come to you rather than anybody else? And be very clear on your message. And here's another one. On the internet, you can find a keynote, Begin with Why, by Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. Begin with Why. We need to tell people why before they know what. We want to go and tell people all the stuff, how it works, So there's a question. So we want to tell people why what we have is important. We want to give them the impact. If you work with me, here's the results that you'll get. And then we want to tell them then how it works. If they don't know why, they don't care how. So why comes first, here's the impact, and then here's the how. Tell people why first. Saundra, we have a question to everyone. Do you have suggestions for obtaining a coach in a specialized area? For instance, forensic accounting. I'm going to let you answer that one.
Well, that was great, Hugh. Thank you. I love those points. That was great. I took lots and lots of notes. Do I have a suggestion for obtaining a coach in a specialized area? Well, one of the first ways that you find a coach, first of all, is to see who are the top players in that area. And you find coaches by either attending those types of in those types of organizational settings. So I'll go with the example that you said here, forensic accounting. That sounds like a very specialized area of accounting in itself. And more than likely, they have some type of organization or have some sort of communication amongst themselves. And you would ask the people who are in that area, who are the coaches in that area. When you get something that's very, very specialized, usually the people that are going to be doing the coaching are also probably maybe the people that are still out there doing the work, that are doing that type of work. So the first place I would find a coach is to go to the organization that these type of people are at. So if you're looking for someone in forensic accounting, what type of organizations are forensic accountants in? And find those people and ask them, where are those type of coaches? There are also places that you can go from a more global perspective, like the International Coaching Federation. I had to get the acronym right, ICF. There's an International Coaching Federation. The International Coaching Federation also has specific coaches. Now, whether they have something like that specific, that's a little bit different. But they may have like accounting coaches that deal with around accounting, or that can help you with that area. And then you might be able to talk to them about that. But the first two places that I always look, one is the International Coaching Federation, or ICF, and you can Google them and you'll find their information there on the website. And then go to the kinds of organizations where the knowledge base that I need, the knowledge base is at that particular organization, to see if there are any coaches there. Do you have anything you want to add?
I do. Thank you. That was spot on. There's also a difference in a mentor and a coach. A mentor is a subject matter expert. They know a lot about your topic. For instance, I work with speakers, authors, and other coaches. And part of what I do and what a part Saundra does is coaching. But also, I'm a mentor to people when they want to do, create the programs and services like I've already created. And so subject matter expertise is more mentoring somebody in the how-to. Coaching is helping somebody to learn for themselves and grow themselves. And that's more generic. And so you might need something in forensic accounting, but you also might need something in developing a business which has nothing to do with accounting. The Ballou 1090 rule is what your expertise, your product, your service, your book, your programs, is 10% of your business. 20% of your business makes that 10% happen. So it's the 90% creating the organization, creating the structure, creating the team, your marketing plan, all these things we're talking about tonight. That makes up 90%, and most of us don't know that. And even, Saundra, I don't know about you, but I have coaches because I can't do for myself what I help other people do. So it's really important to have somebody external that you pay money to that's going to work with you.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There are things in my business that I just really, it's not my area of expertise, but it's necessary for the company. So I agree with you. You know, you find those things that those people that are specialists, and the best way to find them is to really get some feedback from other people too. Get feedback, and you want to ask people for their results. You know, what kinds of results have certain coaches gotten? So
Absolutely great. Before we kick it back to Ryan to tell people about we got another free event coming up on October 6th, but are there other questions people want to unmute, or you want to type it in the chat box? Do you have a question? Hello, Renee. Good to see you.
Hugh and Saundra, I want to add to that just a little bit. Here's kind of my experiences. You know, there's a cliche out there. I don't know how really cliche it is. It's really turning out to be pretty true. You know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you step out of your comfort zone and you begin to walk into those associations, into those groups, into those networks where people like that are, it's amazing how you begin to attract those into your life. I was having that conversation just earlier. And so it's really about that, the law of attraction. I mean, when you make up your mind that you are going to do something and you want to step into that realm of expertise and you really have a hunger to grow and develop, the things, the universe starts to align on your behalf. It's amazing. That's probably a little deeper, but it's amazing how that happens. But then you still got to go out there and find those people. You got to put yourself in the way. But it's amazing how that happens. I mean, we're here on this webinar tonight because of that theory. You know, we stepped out there. I shared this with you guys, and you're like, "Yeah, let's go, Ryan." And so that's how this all came about. So just wanted to add that point.
Kenneth has a question.
All right, Kenneth.
Kenneth, are you there? Can you hear me? Kenneth just typed a question. I have one question. I can hear you. We can't hear you, Kenneth. You want to type your question in? Dr. Cooper, you're awfully quiet there. I can type it, yes. Dr. Cooper, it's good to see you. Do you have a question, sir, or comment on this topic?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm just taking care of my 9-year-old, and I was late getting in here. He's got to go to bed, but we're hanging in for a minute.
Good deal. What's up, young fella?
Hello.
Hey, you know, you tell your pa there it's past his bedtime.
He's laughing at you.
Kenneth, are you type on
your son? I just want y'all to know I'm still producing.
There's no reason I'm not surprised.
What a memory. Kenneth is typing. So if we don't have any other questions, Ryan, let me kick it back to you unless you got something else, Saundra.
No, I'm good. I think we both summed it up, summed everything up. I think Kenneth's question is coming through now.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a good book that goes with the pros and cons of nonprofit versus profit?
Versus profit.
Let me start that. I don't think, and I don't know what's behind that question, but you want to install the same kind of principles in either one. There are very rigid laws governing a 501c3 charity. We use the word nonprofit. I use it for my magazine. It's a tax classification, not a philosophy. So we still need to drive bottom line positive revenue. And we don't pay taxes in a sub-S or LLC or a charity. But there are really rigid requirements in a 501c3, reporting requirements. But there's a lot of benefits. So you can receive revenue from donors and sponsors that comes from, and grants that comes from the philanthropy side of things, not the business side of things. So it's a different kind of investment, and they're investing in your organization in a 501c3. They want to see results. An investor in a company wants to see results. In a for-profit, they want money back in their pockets. In a nonprofit, the result is the return on that investment. It's the value that you provide. You feed people, you clothe people, you educate people. And what you're doing is you're providing a return on life, ROL. So that's the quantifiable difference. And I think in any kind of enterprise, you're providing the quality of life for people, which is the ultimate reason that we exist. We're solving problems and we give people value. So there's a tax classification difference, but organizationally, we should have really sound operational business practices in either one. Saundra, kick it to you.
Now, I totally agree. And this is one of the areas that you talk about coaches. We actually, my husband and I, when we were starting the company, because I wanted to have a nonprofit element of my for-profit company. And so when my husband and I talked about this, we actually went out and sought help to determine, what parts can be nonprofit, what parts can be for-profit. So are there pros and cons to each? But I do agree with you. You got to know, what is your why for doing each part of it. So once you develop that, and I'm not the expert on that. Like I said, we went out and got some coaching and actually hired someone to do that kind of thing for us. But we do have a nonprofit component and a for-profit piece.
Great. Ryan, take us out, will you?
I certainly will. Wow. What an awesome evening of information. 10 things. If you agree, I see there's a few faces up here. If you agree with at least one of those 10 things that might be keeping you from success, just wave at us. All right, I think we were spot on tonight, guys. So again, thank you to Dr. Saundra Williams and Hugh Ballou, experts who I have the privilege of working alongside. And guys, listen, this was really just a little taste, just a little teaser of many, many more things to come. We have embarked upon a journey, as I said in the beginning, to educate and empower entrepreneurs, business owners, folks in the nonprofit world. Our goal is to help you be successful, to help you to win. And so we have a couple of other events coming up here in the very near future. On October the 6th, in just about 3 weeks from now, Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership will be equipping you for success. That is going to be a live workshop with some networking involved. So if you're looking for some mentors, some coaches, some experts in some particular areas, you may find them there. So come on out. You're going to get to meet Hugh Ballou and Dr. Saundra Williams live and in color. Be able to shake their hands, pull them to the side, and ask more detailed questions. They may be the coach or the mentor that you've been looking for. Again, I'm so grateful for them. So again, that's October the 6th. That's a Thursday evening from 6:30, I think, till 9, we said, with some networking on the front end of that. And then, guys, on October the 20th, we get them all day long. From about 8:30 in the morning till about 4:30 in the evening. We're going to throw some lunch in there. And that is a leadership empowerment symposium. Normally, Hugh conducts that symposium alone, but he has brought Dr. Williams alongside of him because of her expertise, her skill set. And as I said earlier on Facebook, they have their 1-2 punch that I'm excited to be able to work with. So October 20th, all day long, we're having a leadership empowerment symposium. Now, guys, if you want to be on the front end of this, reserve your seat. We have a $175 early bird ticket for that event. That's all day. Hugh can tell us a little more about what everything you're going to get there. That's about a $1,000 valued packet. Regular registration is going to be $200. You can get in the door for $175 if you register before October the 10th. So make sure that you get that registration in right away. And finally, before we turn it back to them for closing remarks, we are having the large event, an entrepreneurial leadership and networking conference on November the 3rd here in Raleigh. That's going to be another all-day event with some breakout sessions, multiple speakers coming in. We're going to provide you with lunch. And on the end of that, we're going to be sponsored with a social networking event by one of our partners here on the phone on this webinar, Kimberly Winborn and her company. So, guys, listen, we have several events in store to empower you, to educate you, to help you get better results. Again, my thanks to Hugh, Ballou and Dr. Saundra Williams. Their information is in the tab. Their information is in the printout that we had on the front end of this, along with their websites, their Facebook locations. However we can serve you, feel free to reach out. Hugh and Saundra, I'll turn it back to you guys to tell more about what they're going to be getting on October 6th and the 20th.
So we're going to do more in depth in two different areas. And Saundra, you're going to lead us off. And actually, we have a data sheet for people to download. And it's a free event. And we would just love to. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of leadership empowerment, entrepreneurial empowerment in Raleigh. Not that there is in other places, but there's just a hub of activity. And thanks to Ryan Ray for stirring it up. So you want to give them what we're going to do on that September 6th, Saundra?
Sure. Well, I'm going to kick it off. I have, in all my years of research and working with different leaders and now working with entrepreneurs in terms of being a vision coach, I've developed what is called the next level of success system. Being a technology person, I believe in models and systems, and to be able to take you to different places and to systematically go through something, you'll get to that next level that you're attempting to get to, and that level of accountability, level of success, whatever you want to call it, whatever, as Hugh said earlier, whatever your why is, that how do you actually get there? And so we're going to start off with walking you through that actual system, very high level, but each piece is very important because it takes you from actually identifying your success and whatever that actually is to actually what do you do with success once you get it. Okay, once you achieve it, once you get to that level, you know you want to go even higher, you want to continue to improve. But once you identify success and you go through this model of and taking your life through this, then what do you do with it? That's always the last step. Is it legacy? Is it helping someone else? Exactly what do you do with it? So that's going to be the first part. And then Hugh is going to come and also be giving more success principles, more of what you got tonight, which was absolutely awesome. It's going to give you more of that kind of information, some specific things that you can put into practice in your company or in your business, whether it's nonprofit, for-profit, ministry, coaches, people that need to be there, coaches, speakers, entrepreneurs, ministers, pastors, people, all those kinds of people that need to be there on October the 6th.
And very well said, very well said. And I like the way you and I work together. Then we're going to wrap it up. You and I are going to sit on stools in the room, and we're going to have some dialogue with people. And we're going to actually do some real life, here's the situation, how do we address it? So we want people to come with their real life issue. And then the 20th is a full day symposium. Dr. Cooper, you attended one up in Winston-Salem. Would you say something, you have anything good to say about it?
Of course, I have quite a bit. In fact, I spent drove on up there. I got to meet people like, Ryan Ray and some other folks and Dr. White. And then afterwards, I ended up going to another function because of the people that were there. So I always appreciate you and enjoy your conducting and that kind of stuff. And then, with my training, I know a little bit about Bowen and what have you. So it's always good to see you doing what you got to do. I think, we haven't talked in a while, but bottom line, one of the things that I've had to do is I had too many voices in my head. Everybody knows how to make me a success, and everyone I talk to and all the emails I get and everything. And so quite honestly, one of the things, and I think I sent you an email and told you, is that I had to get these voices out of my head. I was so confused, frustrated, upset. and feeling like a failure because I wasn't a multimillionaire. And a friend of mine simply said to me, take away the $1 million, take away the money, and ask yourself, how are you different from the people who have all the money? And I said, well, I'm not any different. In fact, in some ways, I'm better. And that was an aha moment for me, that I was actually probably judging myself against things that, you and I talked very intimately that day, and I appreciate that. And, I just had just too many voices, and I was focusing on the wrong things.
But you got value out of coming that day is what I wanted to know, that you got.
Yeah, I got value. Especially because I got to spend time with you afterwards and get my own personal time in.
Yeah. Well, you're a rock star in your own right. So thank you for that. Ryan Ray, we got the events coming up, and we hope people will be there. And you will get an email with this replay. And if there's more that you want, there'll be contact information. It's on the chat box. So I, for one, would be glad for you to contact me. And if you have questions about October 6th, Ryan Ray has put his email in there. And we'd like to see you in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it's at an entrepreneurial center, right, Mr. Ray?
Yes, sir. The Center for Community Leadership, in conjunction with the Junior League, there on Hillsborough Street in Raleigh, North Carolina. Awesome facility, awesome people.
Well, Kenneth, Frenchie, David, Ryan just joined us, Kimberly, Peggy, it's good to see you again, my dear, and Doyle out there in Phoenix where it's hot. You're in Scottsdale, I guess, aren't you? Saundra, love working with you.
Thank you. Love working with you too.
I'm glad you guys found us on this other link, and I'm going to send it out. Not everybody that registers for a webinar actually shows up. So, we had 100 people register and about 20 showed up. That's what's normal. So thank you for being here, and we'd love to hear from you. Ryan, you want to take us out?
Absolutely. Again, Hugh, Saundra, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time tonight. Looking forward to doing this again live on October the 6th. To all our friends, they're popping up now. We're seeing some faces. Ryan out here in Raleigh. Good to see you guys. Dr. Nick, such a pleasure, my friend. And to everyone who's joined in, guys, yes, reach out. Let us know how we can serve you. I promise there's amazing power in associations. I'm learning that, and we do have to get those other voices out of our head and get some people around us who can lift us up and share with us the information that will get us down the road, guys. So thank you again. Kim, you're welcome. We're glad to be able to share this information with you in the chat box there, guys. And so until we do this again, you know where to find Hugh. Again, his information is in the chat group. We'll leave it up for a second, maybe, Hugh, before you close it out. Dr. Williams, her information is over there. Join us at Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership on Facebook. I also put the Eventbrite to register for October the 6th in the margin. So cut and paste that into your browser, and you can go right to the link to register for that event here in Raleigh on October the 6th. So, guys, thank you so much for all that you've done. The Spencers out in Charlotte, Kathy here in Raleigh. Look forward to meeting with you next Wednesday. Again, guys, let's form a community where we uplift, empower, educate one another on purpose, and we will see you at the top. Ryan, I'll see you Tuesday, buddy. All right, guys, good night. Yeah, Hugh, leave it up a second. Make sure everybody grabs it. Thank you, guys. Hugh Ballou at Mac. You Mackies.
I love my Mac.